What up, everyone? Recently I made a video about how we switched, or why we switched from all that front-end jazz to basically full-stack Golang with Templ and HTMX, right? And I promised you guys that if I had enough likes, enough views, I would basically create some kind of a small tutorial on how you can set that up yourself, right? And I'm going to give you some best practices, how I do things, how we did things. And I will keep you guys posted on how things evolve, right? Because yeah, you never know. Maybe we made the worst mistake ever. You never know, right? But I always say, play around to find out. How do you say that? Fuck around to find out or something. You know what I mean? Anyway, without further ado, guys, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, give me a thumbs up. Leave some questions in the comments. Jump into the Discord community. Check out the full-time GoDev if you really want to level up as a Go engineer. All that stuff is down in the description, right? A little bit of coffee, because I actually decided to make my videos a little bit more relaxed and just play the long game and not the, how do you say that, the short, fast-paced videos. I don't know. I don't like them. I'm gonna keep it easy. I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm going to keep it relaxed for you guys, right? So we are here in my terminal. What we're going to do is we're going to make a new folder, got, right? cd and got here. Let's do got from Golang Templ, whatever, right? Doesn't really matter. What are we going to do here, right? Let me first of all, guys, what I'm going to do, Windows Zoom level, I'm going to do it 2 for the blind homies. And I'm going to make a couple of folders here. Let's try with the CMD, actually. Entry point for our application, handler. We're also going to make a view. We're also going to single case all these folders, singularize, or whatever you say that, these folders. I think that's a good practice. CMD handler view. We also need maybe a model or something. You can call it types, whatever. I think that's good. And also we're going to make a make file here. Make file. We're going to say maybe run or something. I'm going to say go run cmd main.go. We don't have that, so we need to make it main.go, just like this, right? Also trying to figure things out with my sound. Guys, let me know in the comments if it's still low, if it's still borked. It's just annoying. I don't know what it is. I tried so many solutions, but can't figure it out. That's going to be package main, of course. We're going to say func main. And we're going to say fmt println. It is working, right? Something like that. And we're going to do a make. Actually, to be honest, a go mod. Yeah, go mod init, getup.com and dm. Of course, for you, it's going to be different, right? I'm going to call this got and make. And what's going on here? It's working. Okay, cool. Now it's fine, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we are using Echo framework, right? So people are asking me, Anthony, why are you using the Echo framework? Well, like I also mentioned on my stream, in the Go landscape, you have a couple of mainstream frameworks, web frameworks, right? We have Echo, right? We have, I think it's Fiber, right? We have Chi. And we have Gin or something, right? Actually, Chi is more of a router, I think. Not quite sure. Right, so Gin basically has, what I'm actually looking for in some kind of a framework is to basically remove some boilerplate code. And what is the most used boilerplate code if you're going to use something like Gorilla or just a standard library, is basically you're going to have an HTTP handler, actually. And like Gin, I think they do something like func a context here. And that's it. Or a handler. I don't know what they're doing. I think it's func context. The problem is, what I'm looking for is something like Echo. What they do is they do a func context, but they return an error, right? Very important. Why? So we can do centralized error handling, because error is an interface, and with an interface you can do whatever you want, right? So you can return custom errors, and you can handle them in a centralized way, right? So Fiber also has the same thing, right? So Fiber also has this handler. Chi doesn't have that, and Gin also not, right? So then the next step is basically I want it to be compatible in kind of a way with the standard library HTTP handler stuff, response writer and request and all that stuff, right? Fiber doesn't have that. Why? Because Fiber is built on top of Fast API and all that stuff. So you can kind of make it work, but also not really. So it's not a big of a deal, but hey, then there's only one framework that is left open, the Echo framework, because it's lightweight and you can do whatever you want and it's compatible, right? But that being said, you can actually use whatever framework you want. It doesn't really matter, but if I would choose Echo, right? Okay, so we're going to install Echo here. Let's go to, I think it's lab stack Echo, press enter, click here, get started. We're gonna, what's going on here? Let's go get this thing up, paste it in. Fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say Echo. It's gonna be, to be honest, app is gonna be Echo new. Right? Press save. You're gonna see that this thing is just a little bit borked. That's because we need to actually append the v4 here. Right? Boom. And that's gonna be fine. Then we're gonna say app start, and of course you're gonna use something like 3000 or something else. Or actually, what we do is we use something like go.env and we read stuff from the .env file, right? That's the best, actually, to be honest, a better practice. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're gonna do it like this. Cool. The next thing we're gonna do is we need to have a route. So what I think we're gonna do is something like make something like app get, right? For example, /user, right? And we're gonna do a handler. Actually, let's do that first, right? So I'm gonna give you some good practices here. So let's open up handler, new file. I'm gonna make this user go, right? You could call it home, or you could have a login handler, or whatever kind of handler you want, right? Profile handler, whatever app you're building, a to-do handler maybe, right? So I'm gonna say package handler. I'm gonna say type, close this. I'm gonna say user handler, right? It's gonna be a structure, right? And for now, it's going to be an empty structure. I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm doing this in a minute, right? So we're going to say func u, actually, to be honest, h from handler, user handler. And do we want a pointer? Maybe we won't, right? Why? Because we might change the state, right? But actually, to be honest, let's do not do that. Let's do not do it. Let's not make things complex. So we're going to say handle. What we're gonna do? Handle user show, for example, right? It's gonna be a C, an echo context, and it's gonna return an error, right? So let's return nil for now. Boom. Press save, right? Fine. We're also gonna make a constructor. Actually, we don't need a constructor here right now. So now we're gonna go to our main. We're gonna say that the user handler is going to be handler.user handler, something like that. Press save. That's not going to work. Yes, it is. And then we're going to say app get user handler handle user show. Why are we doing this, right? Because let's say we're going to have a DB, right? Let's say we're going to have a type a DB struct. I'm going to just mock this out, right? Of course, it's going to be an SQL DB, or it's going to be a Supabase client, or it's going to be a MongoDB, whatever, right? It could be anything you want, any kind of state you want to give to your handlers. So let's say var DB is DB, something like that, and then we could say here, put the DB inside of this, right? So then we're going to have access here. Let's do something like DB. We can't because, but you get the point, right? Because DB is in the main right here, and we cannot import it. But the thing is that you can do whatever you want, right? That's why we're doing this kind of a pattern, right? So you can actually attach some state database or something else onto your handlers, right? So you don't need to have a global variable. That's the thing, right? So that's going to be the user handler, yada, yada, yada. That's fine. Okay. The next step is we want to generate some Templ files. We want to show something on our dashboard. So what we're going to do is go to view. We're going to make a new file. Actually, to be honest, a new folder. And we're going to call this the user folder, right? So every kind of views that is basically tied to your user is going to be in the user folder. We're going to make a new file. We're going to call this show.templ. Right. A very important aspect here is, guys, that if I do Templ here, right? If I do Templ here, I'm gonna see some output, right? If you do not see that, you need to go to github.com. I think it's yep, boom. You need to go. I will put all the links in the description. You need to go to this thing here and follow the install instructions. It's very simple. We're not gonna cover that as an engineer, you should do that yourself, right? Easy peasy. All right, that's that. We also need to probably install this thing very soon, so I'm gonna copy this already and do a go get here, go get, paste that in. Malform module, is that true? I think it is. I think it's gonna be something like that. Press enter, yes, fine. So you do that, just follow the things. So we're gonna make a package user, right? And we're gonna say something like Templ user. No, actually that's not true. Templ show. And so you can see already the pattern, right? So we're gonna have this user, and we see handle user show, which is going to render the show template, right? So we could do something like h1, and we're gonna say hello from the user page or something. I don't know, it could be a profile page, guys. Be creative. Okay, now we need to generate that. How are we going to do this? Well, we are going to our make file, and we're going to say, before we're going to run this, we're going to say Templ generate, right? Boom, make. Press enter, it's going to generate these views, and it's going to be fine. So now, when it's generated, we can go back to our handle user show, and we need to do something nifty. But we're going to make it better, right? So we need to do something like return user show. Press save here. It's going to import that. We're going to render this, and we need to give it the context and the response. Press enter, right? That's what we need to do. This is a very long thing. So what we could do to make it a little bit better is go to our handler, make a new file. We're going to call this utilities, boom, package handler, and we're going to say func render. We need a C, it's going to be the echo context here, context, and we also need a component. We're going to say component is going to be a Templ dot, is it a Templ dot? Yeah, Templ component here. We're going to return an error, right? And we're going to say return component, yeah, render C context C response, call it a day. So now we can actually delete this. We're going to say return render, and we're going to say user show, and we're going to give, actually, to be honest, we need the context in the beginning here. Boom, you see, beautiful. It's already a little bit more fancier, well, easier to understand, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's do a make here, boom, and let's go to the local hosts 3000. Message not found, that's true. Go to user, boom. You see, hello from the user page. That's easy that it is. Of course, this is just basics, right? So let's do some more stuff. Something we actually want in our views is the ability to have some kind of a base layout, and then you can have a base and a side navigation or a top navigation or a footer, you know, header, footer, all that kind of jazz. So what we're going to do is in view, we're going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it layout, press enter, and I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to call this base.templ, right? So it's going to be a package layout, Templ, base, boom, boom, and we are going to do something like HTML like this. All right, you should actually ask ChatGPT for some boilerplate code, right? You're gonna have a head. Let's copy this, and then we're gonna copy these things, paste that in. We're gonna call this body, right? Something like that. Then we're gonna say, just to show you, for example, this is from the base layout, and then we're gonna do something special, which is magic, which is injected by Templ itself. We're gonna say children. Dot, right? Which basically means something like you see in React or whatever, like, hey, all the fucking children down below here, right? So that's fine. So we're gonna make, boom, it's gonna compile all that stuff. Right now in our show Templ, we're gonna specify if we want a layout, right? So we're gonna say base, at layout of base, and everything inside of this brackets is going to be rendered as a child of the base, right? So what we need to do is actually import that. Import getup.com/ndm gt, is it, or got /views/layout. Press save. Let's see if we can compile that. We can. Damn, it's my lucky day. And now you can see this is from the base layout. You probably already see that there is some red things going on, like VS Code is working, but that's because, yeah, that's VS Code, right? Guys, you should use Vim. We already know you should use Vim, but I'm an old man, and I like to keep things simple, right? Let me drink some coffee. Actually, also a little bit sick, not gonna lie, the past week. Some virus, my kids were sick, vomiting, taking a shit all 2 minutes, and now it's my time, but that doesn't keep me from providing to make these videos for you guys, you know what I mean? Hey, man's got to do what a man's got to do. Yeah, so now we have this layout, which is fine, right? But you could say, yeah, but Anthony, now we need to pause in this layout in our show. Yeah, but you can do a lot of tricks, right? If you think about, maybe that's an homework, you can, for example, in your util here, right? You could give something like a layout, right? Which could be a component, and then, you can do some utilities to make your life a little bit more easier, but that's not what we're gonna cover. You can play around with that. It's always a good practice. What you else gonna do on this Sunday, right? Nothing much exactly. So yeah, the next step is basically we're gonna have a model. I call it some data or types sometimes, but model is fine. You guys understand that. I'm gonna make a user go here, package model type user. Isn't that something beautiful, a user? How many times did we actually create the user type class or struct? That's insane. I think this is I don't know, if I could keep track, man, I wish I had that amount on my bank account. But anyway, so what does a user have? Well, we know he's going to have an email for sure, right? These days, we're going to have an email, and let's keep it simple. So what we're going to do is, if we are on our user page, user show, we actually want to show the email, right? Let's be honest. So what we're going to do is, here in our user thing, I think if we can close VS Code here, yeah, okay, you see, it's fine. So we want to show, and that's the power of Templ. We can say, yeah, but I want to show a user, which is going to be of type model.user, and press save. So I'm going to import, because somebody needs to make a PR in the Templ thingy. So it's going to be got model, something like that, right? So now we have a model user. And I think if we do this user, yeah, it is, right? So now we have our user active. And what you could do is something like hello and user email from the user page, make again. We have a problem, of course, now that we have this argument user. We need to go back to our handlers, and we need to say that we're going to have a user in here, right? So we're going to make one user. Email is going to be a@gg.com, which is not my email address, guys, but hey, keep it simple. User here, press make, and refresh. What's going on? Undefined users, okay. Of course, it's not a user, it's going to be a model.user. 100% correct, man. I'm so, makes me happy. User.show, what's going on here? Are we in problem? Yes, we are. Why? Because we have user here, and we also import user from, what the hell's going on? We should rename this to U, and then put the U inside of here. Why is that? Because we are in conflict, right? We have the view user, and then the user here. So what we could do is we could change the view user to user view. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. User view render, or we just rename this user variable to U. I know it's complex, isn't it? But whatever, you get the point, right? So let's make again. Boom, and now it's gonna work pretty fine. Now we have this AGG thingy from the user page. Beautiful, right? That's actually, yeah, there's not much more to it, right? So what can we do with Templ more? Like you can make components, right? For example, let's make a new folder. Let's call it components. Just like that. We're gonna make, for example, a user. Let's make a card or something, right? Card Templ, right? It's gonna be package components, I guess. Components Templ. I'm gonna call this card. How are we gonna do that, guys? I'm actually not feeling too good. It's crazy. I need to round up this video, but I'm gonna show you this thing, a card. Actually, maybe we should make an input. Yeah, I think an input is actually a little bit a better example here. You get the point. Input here. What is going on? It's crazy here. VS Code yelling at me. It doesn't stop. I'm gonna call this input. Input here, delete this. What I'm gonna do is close all this bullshit here. What's going on here, man? Let's do this. Maybe do make real quick here. Yeah, that's fine. Open up this input thing. Boom. Okay, we're good. Package components. Temple input. So we're gonna return an input field. We're gonna have a name. Actually, a type maybe. Type is gonna be type. Of course, we're gonna do type because type is a reserved keyword. Yeah. Name is gonna be name, and I think that's gonna be it, right? So we could do something like input props, but that would be crazy. You know what I mean? If we call this props here, to be honest, why not? And we can call it input props. Are we actually over engineering this? Right? Something like that. Type components input. Look at that. React once again. Input props. It's gonna be a structure. We could say, for example, tip. Actually, tip is gonna be a string, and then we need a name. It's also going to be a string, so we're going to say props, input props, and then we would say something like props tip and props name, something like that. Is that a thing? It should be. Yeah, so now we can actually like generate this real quick here. Let's go to our user view. Guys, don't copy this props thing. You could just do input name. You could give some variables or something else. This is like a weird thing. The question about it is, why is this props name completely borking? Nobody knows. We're gonna see. So we're gonna open up a user temple. Actually, show. To be honest, show temple. This one. And let's open up view layout. Let's import the components. 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 Yeah, it should be component to be honest, but it is what it is. Let's do something like add. Can we do components input? Component.input props. This actually, you see, this is just nasty, right? These input props. You could do something like the type is going to be an email type, and the the name is going to be email. You know what I mean? It's gonna work. What's going on? Missing new line. And I'm actually. What's going on here? You know what? You know what we're gonna do, guys? I'm already had enough with these input props. We're gonna say the type is gonna be this, and the name is gonna be this. And you guys figure it out. We're gonna keep it simple here, or we're gonna have a type here, just like that, and then we're gonna have a name here, right? Boom. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make this. Of course, gonna bork out, but that's fine. Where's my show thingy? This. Boom, boom. No input props. We're gonna just say it's gonna be a type of email, and it's gonna be the name is also gonna be email, right? Of course. Boom, boom, boom. Make. All right. Let me see what's going on here. Boom. So now we have this, right? And if we inspect this, to be honest, now we're gonna see type is email. Type is email. Blind home is of course zooming in. Got you covered. Yeah. Something like that. You get the point, right? I'm not a front-end engineer, but you will figure it out. I'm pretty sure, you guys, man. I have so much faith in you, not gonna lie. So that's how you make components, right? Actually, these props could be good, but yeah, whatever. Don't want to hassle with it right now. Something that we also need to know is that, for example, let's go to our main. As the last thing I'm going to show here is but what are we going to show? Can we make some kind of an func with user middleware? The question about it is, I think it's next. Let me see what EchoAccess uses for their middleware. Let me dive in. It's going to be a middleware func, and that's basically a handler func. Okay, I can see what it is. It's Echo handler func. Handler func, is that a thing? Return func e c context error. Okay, then we should call next here probably with c inside of that. Hey, what's going on? And then save it. Return probably. Yes, it's true. So we're gonna say app use, and we're gonna inject some middleware. We're gonna say with user, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna say c. Can we call c set? But the question what it is this gonna work. Let me see. Because I knew there was some problem with the context that we needed to set it a little bit differently. So we're gonna set that. So that means normally we should have access in our handlers directly to this context. Let me open up my show. So you could do something like ctx value users. Can we please? Do we need to cast this? Probably do. No, we don't. It's gonna be something like that. Let me see what's going on here. Let me compile this. Boom. Cannot use blah blah. A string value. Type any. Okay, it's no problem. Let's cast it to a string then. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So the interface is nil. So that's what I'm. That's what I was starting. That's the same. So the problem is, and it's very important. I'm going to show you this. We need to do something like see. Set request. How did we do that? Well, let me quickly see. Request with context. Context with let me cook. Let me cook, guys. So it's gonna be user here. Let's do quickly this thing. So what we're gonna actually mimic is we're gonna do some authentication call, whatever, and we're gonna inject the user into the context, so we always have an authenticated user, right? That's what I want to do. The thing is that it's kind of a with value. Okay, what we need is a context background. Actually, we could do cctx to be honest, yeah. Request context. Yeah, that's fine. And then we need to give the context here. Boom. And then we can make and see if that's gonna work. Okay, but I think we made some template errors here. Do we? Okay, we can't. So we could do something like func get users. See. Context probably. Yeah. String. Let's do something like that. Return value users. Okay, what we need to do is actually you need to cast this. You need to basically type check this. Actually, to be honest, we need to do something like that. Users okay. It's going to be this. We're going to say if not okay. We're going to return an empty string, right? Very important. And otherwise, we're going to return the users. That's what we're going to do. That's very, very, very simple. So now, can we change in these things? We're going to say get user and pass in the ctx. Okay, but you could say, yeah, but Anthony, the user is already injected here. I know. But let's say you're in some other view, a profile, or in some whatever create to do, and you want to have your user, your authenticated user. You can do it like this. So the only thing we need to do is pass in the ctx. Is that true? I'm so confused. But hey, you never know. It's working. The problem is my template is not kind of. Oh yeah, I think maybe we should do. Which one? I don't know. Do we need to specify that? All right. Yes. Now we got it, boys. And girls, of course. And anything in between. So now we have our authenticated users. You know what I mean? And you could change this to get authenticated user, right? Let's change this up here. Get authenticated user. Save that. Did I misspell this? We probably do. Let's make for the... No, it's not. All right. So that's how you can do that, right? Just some hints and tips. Like I said, you need to play around with that, but I'm just giving you some assists. You know what I mean? So I think that's it. Of course, for HTMX, it's going to be a complete new thing. Then we are sitting here 1 hour extra. That's not what we're going to do. This is for your project setup and how things work from a very low, well, actually high level perspective. You know what I mean? So if you want to have some follow-up videos, let me know. I can basically cover some more HTMX stuff in detail. It's not a big of a deal, but I can imagine that it's going to be completely new for you. So I'm happy to do that. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave some questions in the comment. Jump into my Discord community, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video or live stream. Love you all.